2.
Hey everyone, it's Christian from Body Time Personal Training here in Bryn Mawr. Today's video, I want to take a moment to look at the squat. So basically, squat, everybody does it. It's a great exercise. It uses a lot of muscles. But a lot of times, technique-wise, we have to work on a couple little things. So I have 3 techniques or ways that you can kind of correct that. A lot of things always come up as far as form, balance, posture, all that stuff. So here's some tips if anybody's trying to work on their squat. One thing that I notice, like a lot of times when you're trying to teach a squat or you're trying to work on your squat, is that you'll notice a lot of people peek up on their toes. They have trouble bending the knees or the hips, and they end up doing squats like this with the knees out over the toes a lot, and they can't keep their heels down. They're not able to get back into the squat position. So a lot of times that comes from tight lower back hamstring complex. So a lot of times you have to work in a flexibility routine. In the meantime, until you get that flexibility sorted out, one little trick that I find that works pretty well is to actually take a couple small plates. I just like to use 5-pound plates. Place those on the ground and then settle your heels or the back half of your foot onto them. That takes a little pressure off the backside of your body. It allows that flexibility to happen a little bit more fluid, and then you're able to sit into your squat a little bit more fluidly. Try that to start until you work through your flexibility program, and then eventually you try and take those away and see how the squat progresses. I'm sure that that'll be one way to kind of cinch that up. Another thing that I like to try is to actually use a TheraBand, or in this case I have an ankle cuff. What I do is I slide that up above the knees. That's important because you want to incorporate the glutes and also encourage the knees to stay wide. This works really well for women, especially because of the Q angle and those knees tending to turn in. So what you do is you bring it just above the knees, settle that in, and then keep tension on the band all the time. So that encourages, you know, the abduction, and you get the hips involved and the glutes as well. And then you can work on squatting. I like to use a box, so I have a guide. And then you're going to sit down, keep the tension on the bands. It keeps the knees out over the toes, right? And it keeps that width between the knees. So that's a great way to fix that internal knee problem if you have any of that going on. And the third thing is, and this is a great rule that I kind of worked through, and I've heard it from other people as well, is to teach the front squat first. I've heard many times that if you can't do a proper front squat, there's not really any reason to do a back squat to load up your back and to work with heavier weights. So a lot of times what I'll do is when I'm teaching somebody to squat, I'll bring a dowel, or in this case I use a body blade because it's nice and flat and it sits on you. So what I do is I just have them extend the arms, bring the body blade up close to the neck and shoulders, all right, arms extended out, and this encourages that tall posture so you don't get any diving forward. If you tip forward, the body blade or the body blade or the bar will roll down off, and then you know you're not in good technique. So keep the arms extended, have the body blade just out in front of you, and again I like to do a box squat. All right, encouraging the sitting down, coming up, and keeping your back and your posture as tall as you can. And if they can get into that form pretty well, and you can start with a little bit more weight once you get into that good technique, then you can go to a back squat. So those are 3 things I like to use, and hopefully you guys can take those with you, and if you incorporate those 3 things, you should be golden. All right, thanks a lot. Have a good day.